Despite playing Manhunt for the last 20 years or so, I never once asked myself which gang is actually the baddest and most gruesome. And honestly, I think each one of them are terrifying in their own way. So in this video, I want to just overview all the existing knowledge of all the Manhunt gangs available on the Manhunt Wikipedia page. I'll also include some information from the game manual for Manhunt, Valiant Video Enterprises. If you wanted to know this information yourself without my commentary, well, the link is in the description. But if you want just a clear overview to watch while you're on the toilet or etc., please feel free to watch this one. And also, make sure you subscribe for more content such as this. Carcer City is located in the heartland of the Rust area of the United States. It's known as a decaying and crime-ridden city on the verge of economic collapse. The fictional city itself takes inspiration from cities who historically saw a decline in industrial power and job opportunities throughout the 19th and 20th century. Once a booming industrial center, Carcer City in the 21st century is crippled by crime and depression. Along with having a corrupt police force, shady film industry, the city at some point was taken over by gangs. Perhaps not to the extent as, say, Escape from New York, but definitely more aligned with the Warriors film in 1979, where neighborhoods become characterized by the gangs which roam the streets committing violent acts. It was this city where a production company known as Starkweather Quality would emerge and produce several notable snuff films for the public. And it was also here where a very shady film producer known as Mr. Nasty's Online would come to prominence. Headed by Lionel Starkweather, Starkweather Quality would produce classics like Pisley's Greatest Hits, featuring a murderous man-pig wielding a chainsaw. Starkweather moved on to other productions such as CCPD Brutality Caught on Tape and Incarceration Blues. Prior to the events of Manhunt, Starkweather and another individual known as Mr. Nasty actively recruited hired thugs, while at the same time expanding their video series. For anyone who doesn't know what a snuff film is, well, they're films where actual killings take place. These killings are recorded, copied on the VHS tapes and DVDs, and then illegally distributed on the black market. The limited amount of jobs available in the city, many of the city's most able-bodied men would sign up for a chance to become one of Starkweather's hunters. I guess we'll start off with the first gang encountered in the first level of the game, Born Again. The Hoods are known as a gang composed of average Joes. They reside in the old decrepit Carcer Mark neighborhoods. These guys typically wear various hoods, thus their names. They range from Barclays, ski masks, and tied up rubber bags. You remember those bad guys robbing a toy store in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2? Yeah, just like that, but only more tougher and more meaner. Out of all the gangs in the game, they're probably the most tame, as their primary motivation is just the bounty placed on the head of James Earl Cash. Within the Valiant Video Enterprises catalog, you can find an advertisement to hire the Hoods as hitmen. Their only concern is money, but regardless, they still want to make Cash death as grim as they can. Who could forget the Skinz? This is a gang of balding southern degenerates fueled by whiskey and notions of white supremacy. And they're also one of the hardest gangs in the game. They operate out of the Denton City junkyard. They hate just about everything and anyone that doesn't represent their neo-Confederate, socially conservative, and anti-immigrant far-right views. Throughout the span of the levels, white trash and fueled by hate, they constantly shout out racial slurs at Cash, specifically calling him a half-breed, possibly implying that Cash is mixed with some other race. Prior to the events of Manhunt, the Skinz participated in various videos for Valiant, such as Hitting the Skinz, Skinz Skills Tactics 101, and White Trash Bash. Within the Valiant catalog, it's mentioned that the Skinz love to kill runners as a brutal gang meeting, which would often have around 6 members beating up a runner like Cash. Despite being named the Innocentz, this East Los Alamos gang is unlike anything their name implies. The gang is mostly composed of 2 groups, the Scullies and Babyfaces. The Scullies are made up of the typical lowlifes, such as junkies, drug dealers, and in some cases, devil worshippers. while the babyfaces are unhinged pedophiles or mentally disabled serial killers. As mentioned in the Valiant catalog, the Innocentz enjoy driving their prey insane through their weird sayings. It's possible that the Innocentz aren't just a street gang but also a cult who believes that the decayed city of Carcer has become their own personal hell. This is evident by a few of the tags found around East Lobos, which, as one saying says, God is calling or living just for dying. What do you get when you gather a large collection of wannabe soldiers together and provide them with machetes, revolvers, and camouflage? Well, you get the Wardogs, also known as the personal army of Starkweather's right-hand man and organizer, Ramirez. Ramirez's origins are unknown, but at some point he did shoot a snuff film titled Let's Play Ramirez. As for the Wardogs themselves, they seem to be made up of hunters and poachers. Despite their names, none of them, with the exception of Ramirez, has any real experience in warfare. Regardless, they're still one of the toughest gangs in the game, as they are organized like an actual army, and often can't be tricked into traps like other gangs in Manhunt. So prior to the events of Manhunt, the Wardogs participated in several snuff films, such as Who Let the Wardogs Out and The Wardogs, The Untold Story. Out of all the gangs, the Wardogs are the most bold. They're the only gang that actually prepares for Cash's visit, going as far as kidnapping and holding hostage 4 family members of Cash. Holed up in the Dark Woods Penitentiary, the Smileys are one of the more iconic gangs of the gang, categorized by their wearing of smiley face masks and facial paintings. This gang's most favorite pastime is to torture and murder their victims out of simple but also irrational, inscrutable reasons and desires. Out of all the gangs in Manhunt, they are the most unhinged and unrestrained, as their odd behaviors include acting like dogs, hitting their heads to force voices away, and spontaneous laughter. But don't let their irrational behavior fool you, as the Smileys are pretty good hunters, even more than the Wardogs. The police. No, not that police. The Carcer City Police Department. What's worse than a dirty cop? Well, how about an entire police department that's dirty, led by the corrupt police chief Gary Schaefer? The CCPD for decades allowed and supported the filming of various snuff films. If you ever wondered why there are so many cameras in Carcer City, well, it all has to do with the fact that Chief Schaefer works directly with Starkweather, the farm runners, for his film, and keep the lid on illegal activity. Various snuff films, such as CCPD Brutality Caught on Tape, Carceration Blues, and Carcer City Riot, indicate that the relationship had gone on well before the events of Manhunt. And upon looking at a page in the Valiant video catalog, you will even come across the advertisement from the ex-CCPD sniper instructor, offering his services as an assassin. The last gang is without a doubt the most dangerous, the most organized, and the most well-equipped. They make the skinheads look like the cast of a Broadway play comparatively. The Cerberus are the personal army of Starkweather, who also act as his private military and security company that help organize the films and guard Starkweather. In Greek mythology, Cerberus was the three-headed dog which guarded the gates of hell, or Hades. And that's generally what this group does. Not only do they guard the personal estate of Lionel Starkweather, but also his enterprises and also the runners he recruits. Various members of Cerberus were at one time police officers, or in some cases former gang members. Cerberus lacks the use of any simple blunt instruments, and instead packs fully automatic weapons. They're the last gang you want to be caught in a gunfight with. Well, there you have it, an overview of each gang found in Manhunt. Want to know more? Well, I do plan to do a follow-up video for the individual gang members of each gang, along with going over a few instances of Manhunt lore found in several other Rockstar games. In the meantime, please let me know who you think is the baddest and most gruesome gang in Manhunt. And if you like this video, please do leave a like and share it. And if you're interested in more content such as this, well, check out my channel, Smoke and Fiend Productions. This is your big homie Bob signing off. Until next time, stay beautiful.